Well, lose.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You were in a lose.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You're in a boxer, no good way out.
Good evening, welcome, afternoon, I should say. Good afternoon and welcome to the regular meeting of Westminster Mayor and Common Council. Thanks to everybody for accommodating the change in schedule. Council does meet here at City Hall on the second and fourth Monday of every month. Please note the council meetings, although open to the public here at City Hall, are also available and streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center channel and website. We'll begin as we do every meeting with the pledge to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment to silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices that might disturb the video. Copies of this afternoon's agenda and the entire information pack that the council will be using is available online on the city's website. Before we go any further, I just want to say to Council Member Gilbert, the innovation.
Happy anniversary. Thank
That's right.
It's 10 too.
Yeah.
Is there a song?
No,
Okay.
there is not.
All right.
We have a public hearing this evening, or this afternoon, I should say. I keep saying that part. Public hearing and public hearings in the city of Westminster are conducted by the mayor, so I'll turn the gavel and the chair over to her.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is for the constant mill rate. This public hearing has been properly published in the Carroll County Times on Friday, April 14th, 2024, meeting all state of Maryland requirements. City of Westminster, notice of a proposed real property tax increase. The mayor and common council of the city of Westminster proposes to increase real property tax. 1, for the tax year beginning July 1, 2023, the estimated real property assessable base will increase by 2.34% from $2,041,360,554 to $2,089,187,034. If the city of Westminster maintains the current tax rate of 0.56 per $100 of assessment, real property tax revenues will increase by 2.34%, resulting in $267,828 of new real property tax revenues. In order to fully offset the effect of increasing assessments, the real property tax rate should be reduced to 0.5427, the constant yield tax rate. The city of Westminster is considering not reducing its real property tax rate enough to fully offset increasing assessments. The city of Westminster proposes to adopt a real property tax rate of 56 cents per $100 of assessment. This tax rate is 2.34% higher than the constant yield tax rate and will generate $267,828 in additional property tax revenues. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment?
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
my only comment would be that just to point out, we are not changing the actual rate. We are just abiding by a state law that requires us to make this announcement. And I just want to make sure I point that out, that we're not changing the rate at all, it's staying exactly the same.
All right, thank you, Mr. Councilman Brockey.
Dr. Patrick, Mayor.
Yes,
I'd also like to add to that we are keeping the rate the same in a time when inflation over the last year and a half has been significant. And yet we are not increasing taxes. We are managing to afford citizens of Westminster the same level of services that they've come to expect without an increase despite the inflation.
No one else wishes to speak at this time. I'll close the public hearing.
Thank you. We'll move along. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have minutes from the meeting of the mayor and council on April 10th, 2023. May I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion to approve. There's a motion by Mr. Dayhoff, is there a second? Second. There's a second by Ms. Gilbert. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have the ayes have it. Minutes are approved. We have two items on the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Gilbert and a second by Mr. Hawk. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have the ayes have it. And the consent agenda is approved. Report from the mayor, Dr. Becker.
Okay, thank you, Council President Pecoraro. This 4 p.m. time has thrown me off. I accidentally voted on the minutes, so
We didn't report.
thank goodness. Okay, all right. I know we have some other events to get to, but I just wanted to make a couple comments in my report. So on April 17th, I attended, I believe, with every member of the council, along with some of the city staff, the opening of Magic's Autonomous Robotics Innovation Center, or ERIC. This was such a great event that showcased the talent in Westminster and the region in autonomous robotics. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more from Magic and ERIC regarding their facility. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to spend some real quality time with Governor Moore, Lieutenant Governor Miller, and Comptroller Learman over the weekend in Western Maryland. I was also able to spend some time with other state and federal elected officials, and I just wanted to mention that I have been incredibly grateful for all the support that we have received from our officials at both the state and the federal level. And then last but not least, I know everyone was disappointed regarding the cancellation of the wine stroll on Saturday. As I mentioned, I was in Western Maryland, but I wanted to take just a couple seconds to thank staff for making these hard, often, quote, there is no right decision. I do believe that the correct decision was made, and I know that any decision made by staff and council, we don't make lightly. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to extend my thanks and gratitude, and just say thank you to staff for that. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Dr. Becker, appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is report from standing committees. Begin with Mr. Dayhoff, report for the Carroll County Arts Council.
Thank you, Mr. President. A lot of exciting programming on over at the Arts Council. Consult the website for additional information. The website's very good and lays out a lot of really exciting programming. That'll be my report, Mr.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Mr. Hawk, Economic and Community Development Committee.
I have no report today.
All right, very good. On behalf of the Finance Committee, I will just say that we are in the midst of the Finance Committee's report. Thanks to the staff, particularly our city administrator, for the hard work and putting together the budget. You all can receive a copy of the document tomorrow. We'll have several days then to be able to read through it. And then we will have the presentation of the budget next Monday, a special meeting. So we look forward to everybody having a chance to do that. We'll reiterate that although you will see it, in print tomorrow, I'm very pleased to have provided a budget to you all to consider that has no tax increase for the 10th year in a row, which we're really pleased about. Continue to provide same level of services to our citizens that they have come to get used to, and do some extra things as well. So it's a good budget, it's a balanced budget, back with a small surplus, which we're pleased about, and look forward to having that conversation with you all next week. That's it for the Finance Committee. Ms. Gilbert, Personnel Committee.
I want to draw everybody's attention to our website regarding all of our city positions. We also have some exciting news that we have just posted today, the position of the Director of Public Works. We also have several positions available. Still, we're trying to fill them. So if you may not be quite qualified for that Director of Public Works, you can pull up the website and take a peek at our summer camp positions, our pool positions, So we have camp director, lifeguard, pool manager, assistant pool manager, and camp counselor. They're all great jobs to supplement your income if you're a teacher, or maybe if you just happen to be a college student home for the summer. They're going to be great opportunities for you. In addition, we have openings in our police department for a communication specialist and some entry-level and lateral officers. Along with Public Works, we just posted a construction inspector position. So please take a look at our website for applications and job description.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Mr. Kavachi, Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. On April 19th, the Westminster Police Department held their annual awards and promotion ceremony at the Best Western Conference Center. Many of the Westminster Police Department employees and community partners were recognized. Notably, Corporal Bill Long was designated as the Police Officer of the Year. Lieutenant Steve Blackwell was designated as Supervisor of the Year. Officer Cynthia Hall was designated as the Rookie of the Year, Police Rookie of the Year. And Parking Officer Michelle Leone, who I know we all love, was designated as civilian. I meant that seriously. That wasn't, what do you call that? When you're being sarcastic. Michelle Leone was designated as Civilian Employee of the Year. So that's wonderful. I know just about everyone here was probably there. So except myself, because I had thrown my back out, and I'm sorry that I was not able to attend, but I was in pretty excruciating pain that morning, actually. Later that day, Carroll Community College Criminal Justice Program held their annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Award ceremony, and Detective Maureen Kent received an award for her criminal investigations work during the 2022. Most notably, the investigation of the burglary of the City of Westminster Family Fitness Center, which was, that was a pretty nice piece of work. That was something I think we were all, concerned about, upset about, and quite a good job getting that case closed. And I know she didn't do it completely alone, but had a big part of it, and great that she was recognized for that. Corporal Bill Long also received an award for his proactive patrols during 2022. These award recipients, along with several Westminster Police Department command staff members, attended and represented the Westminster Police Department at that event at the college. That is all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. And can you also do a report on the Public Works Committee?
The Streets Department planted a snow goose cherry tree at the Boys and Girls Club on East Main Street for Arbor Day, planted a dogwood tree at City Hall, and set out 8 planter boxes with flowers along Main Street, which I will say my wife is very excited about. They also repaired a catch basin on Rich Marr Street and repaired potholes on Schoolhouse Alley. New tennis nets were installed at City Park. Utilities Maintenance Department will be flushing hydrants this week, as they have been for a while now. April 24th, 25th, and 26th from 7 to 11 p.m. And the locations are Belgrove Square, Michael's Ridge, Snowden Manor, Blue Ridge View, Pars Ridge, Pennsylvania Avenue, John Street, Carroll Street, Furnace Hills, Stone Ridge Overlook, and Liberty Street. Probably see a little discoloration in your water while this is happening. It doesn't mean the water's unsafe, but it does get a little bit discolored when they're doing that. One quick comment on this, when I read these reports that talk about these different things that Public Works does, this is just in addition to the work they do every single day, doing all the other stuff that keeps the city running from a Public Works perspective. These are kind of the over and above things. So I just wanted to make that comment because I know I read these things each time, and it dawned on me that I hope no one thinks this is all they do, and all the extra stuff that they do. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. And the dogwood tree at City Hall was planted. Mr. Dick may know this. Was that a tree that was planted for Neil Ridgely? So, yeah, we should note the passing of Neil Ridgely, who was a longtime member of our tree commission and helped do some of the planning that made Westminster a tree city. Long-time community activist, worked for the county for many years. Certainly, miss Neil. And Recreational Parks, Mr. Dayhoff.
And Mr. Ridgely was a very good friend. We will miss him greatly. He did a lot of really great work for City of Westminster and the Tree Commission. He also had a lot to do with the Flower and Jazz Festival. Jazz is really traditional thing. Mr. Full disclosure, Mr. Risley and I have, our farms are not adjoining, but they're very close by and we would constantly swap equipment. And he never missed an opportunity to come over and share with him his wisdom as to how the city of Westminster should be run.
Yeah.
There was mention of the Main Street Mile we had a power outage that evening and the street departments came in and helped us with all the intersections. The street department, the public works department, they just rock. They just did a great job. The Main Street Mile went really well again this year. The Main Street Mile was a regional event because everybody wants to get their personal best time for running downhill for a mile. It's a great event. We're really excited about getting the Wakefield Valley Trail. If it's okay with you, Mr. President, Mr. Dick, I wonder when do you estimate that will get started? I'm getting a lot of calls.
As of last week, they said it should be the first week of May.
Okay, that's good information. I really appreciate it. As a first responder, I thought the Wine Street, the wine stroll call was a great decision. And I really appreciate it because I would have hated to have been out in that meth and emergency equipment. It was a great call and I applaud you for doing it. Thank you very much. You very well could have saved lives because we had lightning strikes all over the county doing that. I think that's it for me, Mr. President.
Thank you, Big Hop.
Yes, sir.
I have nothing tonight for staffing for the technology committee. Now we'll move on to council comments and discussion when council members get to the opportunity to mention anything that's on their minds that is either isn't on tonight's agenda. I just want to lead that off by sharing some really good news. The governor today signed the legislation that allows MDE to permit our water reuse project. So we're very pleased about that. And we got the notice that was going to happen last night. So unfortunately, none of us were able to get down there to attend because we had so much going on. It would have been nice to be there, but we appreciate the governor, doing it early on because this was emergency legislation. As soon as it's signed, it goes into effect. And so, we can start, banging on MDE's door right away to, see when they're going to issue that permit now. So we're very pleased we've gotten that done. Many thanks to everybody who participated in that. I certainly want to say, of course, Ms. Impulse, we've got the ball rolling quickly and gathered everything together. The mayor did a terrific job going down and leading the city's representation when we went down to testify and really, I think, very lucidly explained what we were doing, why we needed to do it. And I think, Mr. Huff and I were there to back her up. And I think it made a good case and we were very pleased with all the and both bills, the House version and the Senate version, both passed. And I also want to thank Senator Reddy and Delegate Rose for having, taken up the bills and got them introduced for us. That was true. I want to reiterate the mayor's remarks, about the wine stroll. These are difficult choices, but I have to, and I know that a lot of people were second guessing us on Saturday morning, saying, "Look at the weather; it's beautiful." But I have to tell you, I was never so glad to see the heavens open as I was at 1:15 and vindicated the decision. And then it stopped raining briefly. I said, "I hope that's not it." And then it started raining even harder a few minutes after that. Hail, so it was really quite a storm. So again, thank you, Ms. Rubin, for doing the right thing. And that's all I had. Mr. Kamachi.
I'm not going to be a dead horse for that decision, but it was the right one. That's it, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dayhoff.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to reiterate how wonderful the opening of Magic was. And I wanted to make note that the Commerce Secretary was here. And I think he will be here much more in the future. And I need to point out that Sidney Tringle is the Deputy Secretary of Commerce who lives in Westminster. I've had the pleasure and the honor of working with her a great deal in the past on my visit to Estonia and other occasions. Her dad is a high-ranking elected official in Estonia, and I think we've got a wonderful connection there. Ms. Gilbert will probably elaborate upon the Westminster Fire Department 200th anniversary was last weekend. And I didn't speak too long, did I? I was short.
Short and sweet.
I was, but it was a great event. A lot of folks from all over the state attended because it is the 200th anniversary of the Westminster Fire Department. It is actually, along with the Westminster Police Department, two of the oldest agencies in the country. A lot of people are not aware of that. The Westminster Police Department was first mentioned in 1819 in our charter. The Westminster Fire Department goes all the way back to 1808. Mr. President, if it's okay with you, I would like to ask the Personnel Committee. I've had a number of folks call me about the jobs that are available in the city of Westminster, and they go to our website, and they can't find them. I wonder if there's some adjustment that we can make on the website. Can we highlight them? Can we do something? Can we come up with a flyer? Can we? Because
We'll ask the city administrator to take a look at that.
yeah, in fact, if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. I mean, if we could come up with something that I could just send out to people about the jobs that are available. Everybody wants to work for Ms. Gruber. We love her. I can understand that.
But other jobs too.
Other jobs in addition to Ms. Gruber's. Okay. I did attend the annual Westminster Police Department Awards ceremony. It was a great ceremony, and I also attended the annual Carroll Community College Criminal Justice Committee awards event. I didn't speak too long, did I? See? Thank you, Mr. President. That'll be my report.
All right, thank you. And before we move on, Ms. Gilbert, I will just note that there is on the front page of our website a quick link that says employment opportunities.
Great.
So perhaps
I'll take another look at
make
it.
the letters bigger. I don't know, but it's there. Ms. Gilbert.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that. I haven't had any trouble getting to the page of finding the job descriptions and or what is posted, because I check it out before every meeting. Now, I'm not sure how the link is working to get to each individual job, because I don't do that.
Well,
But,
I'll take a look
it's
at
pretty
it.
easy. I'm not gonna go into much on the decision to cancel the wine stroll, because everybody else has already talked about that. Again, it was a good decision. So thank you for making that hard choice to the Parks and Rec Department. But while I'm speaking about Parks and Rec, I also wanted to thank Abby's staff, particularly Heather, for the great organization she's been doing with the Spring Pickleball League. Everyone I speak to, including myself, because I am participating in it, has been extremely appreciative of the help of Heather and all the folks that are helping us input our data, our scores, and just the overall organization of the league. I also know Heather spearheaded a large part of the web-based application that's involved with the league. These programs, you think, well, hey, it's what we've always been doing, but they're not. These programs are new to Westminster. And this is the first time we've had a spring league. So it's kind of a learning process for everyone as far as staff. We've been always at the top of our game, posting tons of events like the wine stroll and the barbecue, and we've got it down a fine oiled machine. But starting to work in on the programming is a little bit more challenging and different because we have pickleball, we have archery, and we have all kinds of things. So I just wanted to say thank you to Heather. She's doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to some more of the new programming that's probably going to be coming around the corner. In addition, the last 2 weeks have been, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I think it's been rather crazy with spring. So I wanted to shout out to Sweet Bay Farms on their ribbon cutting that was on April 15th. That happened. Not only Sweet Bay Farms, but also Eric. They had their ribbon cutting. And both locations were locations that were kind of historic, not necessarily historic, but at least have some history for Westminster. It was nice that Sweet Bay is taking on a legacy of Bellman's, and they're also continuing to sell plants and have great plans for themselves in the future. And on top of that, Eric moved into what was, at least as far as I know of, the old Buick location. I'm sure there's some history that Mr. Dayhoff can fill us in on, but we're all now seeing new businesses come into spaces and utilizing space that has some history. So that's pretty cool. April 19th was the award ceremony for the Westminster Police Department, and the 22nd was the fire department and their 200th anniversary. The fire department will be hosting some other events later this year that will be taking place regarding their 200th anniversary, but I wanted to take a moment to thank all the firefighters, past, present, future, and police officers and their families. What I noticed, which I obviously knew, but it kind of was sent home to me when I was at the dinner on Saturday. Saturday night, we have a lot of tradition and history in our local fire department. Over the years, that tradition was not only being around a firefighter, which dates back, I believe, Councilman Dayhoff said how long that was, and I do not have those years, but obviously more than 100 years. But it also is a community. A lot of us know that as seeing the carnivals that occur in the summertime, the oyster feeds, the fried chicken dinners, the pancake meals, all based on fundraising, the big money raffles, which is indeed community. But what we don't see often is what the family of the firefighters and the firefighters and police officers themselves, not just of their time, but they're the ones who run into the fire. They're the ones who run to the scenes of accidents and crimes and see people at their weakest moments. They save us from accidents and the fires, and most people can't do that. So I want to thank them, but also their families, because their families are the ones that make that fundraising possible, but also the ones that support our firefighters and police officers and EMTs when they have trouble dealing with what they deal with every day. So I just wanted to send a thank you out to all of them. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As you said, I'm very excited that the water reuse bill is all done. I know that Ms. M. Hulse is excited, staff is excited to get that project moving forward. So I greatly appreciate everybody's help. I won't repeat all those names. The other thing I will mention, just to give a brief update, I believe it was last year, we had an annexation agreement that we agreed to related to a property on the corner of Route 140 and Sullivan Road that involved, I think, multiple parcels, if I remember correctly. And it's 3 different uses, and the potential, the applicant who wants to go in there is a redevelopment to a sheet. On Tuesday, per the agreement with the county, though, the approving authority, instead of being our Planning and Zoning Commission, is actually the Carroll County Planning and Zoning Commission. On Tuesday, the 18th, I attended a meeting of the Carroll County Planning and Zoning Commission because there was a special report regarding that project, regarding traffic mitigation. There was a little bit of, shall we say, disagreement between the applicant and the county regarding the extent of the traffic mitigation. I attended that hearing and I'm happy to report that the Carroll County Planning and Zoning Commission verbally unanimously agreed that the efforts that the applicant were making were reasonable and indicated to them to proceed forward. That was an important step because otherwise I think there would have been a real big possibility that the applicant would not have proceeded forward. So they are quite pleased, and it's good for us from a City of Westminster standpoint, because that project is now moving forward. It still has several steps to go through, but I think it'll be a plus for the city in the long run to see that corner redeveloped and also for it to be coming into the city and paying tax revenue. So that's it as far as my report is concerned. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hawk. And move on now to ordinances and resolutions. We have one item this evening, or this afternoon, almost evening now. Adoption of resolution 23-04, a resolution of the mayor and common council for the city of Westminster, Maryland, granting a non-exclusive license to Chadlin LLC in, over, and across a portion of the Sycamore Street right-of-way for the purpose of providing a driveway for ingress and egress, for providing utilities to LTPT 9-1.5 or of 7,854 square feet. Sycamore Street map 0107 grid 0013 parcel 0527. Subject to the terms and conditions set forth in the license agreement and approving license agreement. Usually I'm not trouble with those, but that one's very odd.
We made it hard for you.
It must be 4 o'clock. So we're not doing this again. We're going to,
Next week's meeting.
Okay.
President, it's at 4 o'clock.
Mr. Depot, can you explain what the heck this is all about?
Thank you. Yes. This all goes back to that vacant property on Sycamore Street that wants to develop out. And as you know, Sycamore Street isn't built out in that location. And this was just a way that the city worked with the property owner to provide the ability to access the property so he can get a single family house there. So he will provide a driveway from the intersection of Sycamore and Winchester, just to the north. Get the name of the roadway, just slipped my mind. I had it right before the meeting. And it's solely just allowing access to be provided to the single family house for short term until Sycamore Street is fully built. So that's the license agreement that's before you. So back on March 27th, 2003, the Mayor and Common Council introduced ordinance 2302, an ordinance of the Mayor and Common Council accepting a quitclaim deed to an unimproved portion of Sycamore Street located between East Green Street and West Winchester Avenue in the city of Westminster. So again, the first step was acquiring the property and the right of way. On April 10th, 2023, the Mayor and Common Council adopted ordinance 2302, which became effective on April 30th, 2023. So before you today is resolution 2304, granting a non-exclusive license agreement to Chadlin LLC in, over, and across a portion of Sycamore Street right-of-way for purpose of providing the driveway for ingress and egress and providing utilities to that unimproved property located along Sycamore Street, subject to the terms and conditions set forth in the license agreement and approving the license agreement. And with that, staff recommends that the Mayor and Common Council adopt resolution 2304 as provided in attachment 1 of this report. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you. Mr. Depot. A motion? To adopt resolution 23-04.
I'll move, Mr. President.
Been moved by Mr. Kavachi and a second by Mr. Hoff. Any questions from Mr. Depot or any comments?
Mr. President.
Mr. Hoff.
I just want to commend staff because having read through this is a very reasonable compromise to be business friendly to somebody who has a very small lot to allow them to proceed forward, because it would just be uneconomical for them to construct that as a public street. But I'm also glad to see how staff address the fact that eventually this will hopefully become a through street and a public street when other parcels around it are developed. So I just want to commend staff for really thinking this through, allowing the small lot owner to move forward, but also thinking long-term about what would happen when a future project gets developed and the fact that eventually that street will likely be built. So just great job from staff standpoint. So I just want to make that comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hoff. Anyone else? Mr. Bayhawk.
A number of years ago, when we were working on smart growth initiatives back in the late 90s, almost at the early 2000s, infill development was one of the things that were very much emphasized. Infill development, brownfields. issues like that in the urban environment. So this is a prime example of adaptive reuse, of infill development, of providing opportunities for folks to build houses and to do development inside the urban area instead of out in the cornfield. And then this one is really a tricky one. It goes back to the Brazil annexation a long time ago. And there's probably some more opportunities with the Brazil annexation. Look, it goes back to what the 18th. So I really applaud staff for being flexible and coming up with an out of the box and creative solution to a very difficult problem that did not take into consideration geology or topography. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's all for me, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vehas. Anyone else? Hearing no further discussion, we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. And the resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Unfinished business. There is no unfinished business, of which I'm aware. Does anybody have any unfinished business to bring before the council? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. There is no new business for the council, that I'm aware of. Does anybody have any new business to bring? Hearing none, we'll move on to departmental reports. Ms. Imhoff, are you able to read departmental reports, or do you need your deputy to step in again?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Councilmember Hoff, thank you for acknowledging the work that the planning department did on that last item. I think the planning department, under the leadership of Mr. Depot, has consistently attempted to find creative solutions that, although we are limited to what the code allows us to do. So a lot of that work goes on behind the scenes. A lot of that work is on the back of Mr. Depot himself. And neither the council and sometimes not even myself see all of that work that goes on, because things just get built. People go into new spaces. You know, a tenant comes out, a new tenant comes in. We don't see any of that behind the scenes work that's done by the planning department. So thank you for acknowledging that in this case. And we will start tonight with Mr. Depot.
Thank you. Just one item, on April 20th, the Planning and Zoning Commission held its public hearing on annexation 75 and resolution 2302. This is for 1131 Avondale Road, or known as the Hare property, for a total annexation area of 73.9464 acres. The commission forwarded annexation number 75 to the Mayor and Common Council with a favorable recommendation. And this annexation is scheduled to be before the Mayor and Common Council on May 8th. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the planning department? Okay, I want to talk for just a minute about the wine stroll. I just want to thank the Mayor and Council for their support. All of the strolls that the staff puts on are events that they themselves are very excited for as well. So we were extremely disappointed that we had to cancel that. We work very hard to make sure we can put on excellent events for everyone. But I think one thing we've certainly learned, and maybe I'd say I learned it because I'm still fairly new, is that the wine stroll is very clearly a beloved event in town. And I think that's a good reminder to know, we don't always know how much folks in town like things. So this stroll seems to be one of those examples. So with that, we will move on to the Recreation Department. Ms. Groper.
Hello, everybody. I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that our city nature hunt is starting this Friday with our kickoff party at Wakefield Valley Park. So Friday, the 28th from 3:30 to 6:30, we will be introducing everyone to the iNaturalist app. We have a beautiful bugs program. We have nature walks happening every hour on the hour, crafts for children. We'll be unveiling our prizes for the different tiers of observation that people make. And sadly, I know I'm staring down another rainy forecast for this event. So we are also working on alternative plans. So stay tuned, everyone, to our Facebook page for details on that if we do have to pivot because of weather, but we will be prepared to still have some type of an event. Also, we are working earnestly on getting our pool ready for opening day. So we are busy hiring staff and working alongside Keller Brothers Construction so that we can begin our preparations for the start of our season as they finish up with phase 1 of the renovation project. So we are very excited to be opening our pool for the first time in, I guess, 2 seasons now. So that concludes my report unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for the Recreation Department? We will move on to Public Works Department, Mr. Tech.
Thank you, Ms. Moss. Just 2 quick things, or 3. Green Street sidewalk at the bridge is supposed to start this Wednesday. They got delayed due to other project that they were on. The I&I project is in Kings Park. They're gonna line that in the next 2 days. Then the easy things are done and they were waiting on permits at that point from the county for the rest of the work. And then the clock tower, the construction of the clock tower is going really smooth. It's been 0 hiccups so far with the construction part, so it's all running well. So unless there's any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. Are there any questions for the Public Works Department? We will move on to IT. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. I don't have anything to report today.
Okay. Any questions for IT Department? We'll move on to housing, Mr. Brown.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report from the council. Any questions? Okay. Ms. Rogers is not here for the finance department. I just want to take a quick opportunity.
We get an update on, in the Bishop's Garth,
165.
yeah, no, the
Bishop's Garth.
Bishop Garth?
Yeah.
Bishop Garth is, as far as I know, there are no new issues. Everything they have committed to do, to the best of my knowledge, they have done. We haven't received any new complaints. But we keep in contact with them regularly. But there's no new overflows of anything, whatever has come up, they handle it on site, address them, and so we're real pleased with where they are at this point.
Okay, so I'm hearing no more questions. We'll move on to the finance department. Ms. Rogers is not here today, so I just want to take a chance to thank all the staff. When we put the budget together, we start working on it in January, and it is an all staff on deck kind of process and document with 10 million questions. So I just want to thank everyone for pivoting quickly and helping to answer all those questions along the way. We will move now to the Human Resources Department. Ms. McCullough.
Good evening. The Human Resources Department, we continue to assist all departments with recruiting for positions. On the 19th, the HR staff attended Carroll County Community Job Fair. We had a lot of participants to come to our table, and we received some resumes. We put together a flyer of our positions in a snapshot. So that was successful. And on Friday, the 22nd, we attended the meet and greet for the CDL class at Carroll County Community College, where we've been sending our employees for CDL training, and other employers participated. And the city of Westminster, they thanked the city for our constant enrollment of employees throughout the training. That completes my report.
Are there any questions for the Human Resources Department? Okay, we will end things up with the Police Department Chief.
Evening, Mayor and Council. On Wednesday morning, I will be the guest speaker at the Community Services Council meeting. They've asked me to speak on crime and safety. So I'll be giving that presentation. On Thursday, May the 11th, the State Attorney's Office are holding their annual drug and overdose prevention vigil. That's going to be held at the St. John Church Portico. On May the 15th, the Chamber of Commerce has their Public Safety Awards. It's being held at the Pleasant Valley Fire Hall. Several of our members will receive awards, including the Police Officer of the Year Award. On Wednesday, May 24th,
That's First Responder Appreciation Lunch, sponsored by the Health Department, where they bring lunch to first responder locations along with somebody in recovery with an inspirational story. That's all that I have, unless there are any questions.
Hearing none, Councilmember Dayhoff, do you have anything for the fire department?
No, not this evening. Thank you.
Mr. President, that concludes the department reports.
Thank you very much. The final item on our agenda is citizen comments, when we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issues that pertain to this afternoon's agenda or any other city issues. Citizens not attending the public meeting, we invite you to send us your comments or concerns via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All comments received by email will be shared with the mayor and council. Commenters can include their address and phone number with their comments. We'll now invite comments from anyone who is present this afternoon. I'll remind everyone, this is an opportunity for the public to share their thoughts and concerns with the mayor and council. Is there anyone with us this afternoon who wishes to be heard? So please give us your name and address for the record.
Linda McNulty, 195 West Main Street. I'd like to thank the mayor and city council and Chief Ledwell and Aaron Brown for working on the problem at 165 West Main Street. That some action was taken right away. I understand that they were cited for some violations. I have had to replace my young women tenant, young male tenants, because the people who live there are dangerous, and I cannot have young McDaniel students live in the house right now. And they were drinking and throwing things yesterday, but they went in the house, so I didn't call the police. But I understand Chief Ledwell and Eric Brown are working on it, and the best anybody can do. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Anyone else? All right, if no one else wishes to be heard, that concludes our agenda and the meeting. Our next meeting will be held next Monday, May 1st, special meeting. Please note that we'll be meeting early that day at 4 o'clock as well. With that, without objection, we are adjourned.
I do, but I do.